How can you overcome the reluctance to negotiate? Many people shy away from the idea of negotiation. Are you one of them? In just a few minutes, you will find out that you negotiate more often than you think. Hi, I'm Henk Botha, and I specialize in negotiations and negotiations training. People call me the negotiation advocate, and the nickname stuck. You negotiate more often than you think. Each time you deal with someone whose views, needs, or desires differ from yours, you are in a negotiation. Whenever you ask someone or someone asks you to do something, you will be in a negotiation. Always, when you ask someone to give you something, you are negotiating. Every time someone wants to take or get something from you, it's a negotiation. You are negotiating with colleagues about solutions for business problems. When you solve the problem in a way that would increase business efficiency, you have added value to your company or business. When your boss wants you to carry out a special task, you are in a negotiation. You might simply agree to do it, or, on occasion, you may ask whether your boss would consider giving you a salary increase upon your satisfactory completion of the task. Just think of everyday situations. A child asking for pocket money, a relative or a friend asking a favor, a spouse asking you to purchase something. All these situations present you with a negotiation opportunity. You are not only negotiating when you are selling your house or when buying a car. You also negotiate when you deal with a taxi driver or with a traffic inspector who wants to ticket you. You are negotiating with a bank manager about the interest rate on your overdraft checking account. The way you handle these situations or experiences will influence your prosperity, wealth, and happiness. For instance, when you speak to a customer who complains about poor service, it's a negotiation. If the customer is unreasonable, it may tempt you to jump down her throat. Then you might lose her forever. Alternatively, you may first try to persuade her to drop her complaint and then tell her to jump in the lake if she refuses. However, arguing and persuasion are unlikely to solve the problem. If you deal with this disagreement in a negotiating way, you might retain your customer and get repeat business. Instead of arguing, you might simply ask her what she expects you to do to correct the problem. She might surprise you with her answer. For instance, she might want in future to place her order telephonically with you instead of having to stand in a line. Her suggestion might be perfectly acceptable to you. That is what negotiation is all about. Finding a solution that will satisfy your needs and the other person's needs. It often amazes me to see people miss negotiating opportunities. They simply don't realize they are negotiating. Openly, they allow others to exploit them. They become victims of trickery, deceit, and swindles. Why does it happen? Plainly, people are often not alert. They fail to realize that the situation calls for negotiation. That is why they often get worse deals than necessary. Many people have the false impression that negotiations only take place when there is a great deal at stake. Seldom do they consider daily encounters with colleagues, friends, relatives, bank clerks, club members, law enforcement officers, and teachers as negotiations. They naively think of these encounters as discussions or something similar. You don't need more power than the other person. Sometimes people think that they need more power than other persons to negotiate effectively. This is wrong. One does not need more power than the other person does. A toddler, for instance, does not have more power than its mother does. Still, we all know how successfully toddlers negotiate with mothers to get what they want. All you need is to use your power effectively, economically. Leverage your power. Know the rules of negotiation, the tactics you may use, and the tactics the other person might use against you. Don't fear rejection. People also miss negotiating opportunities because the thought of the other person turning them down terrifies them. It's easier to concede than to deal with conflict. One doesn't need any skill to give in. It's easy to look the other way. However, if you regard negotiation as simply asking for your fair share, it's unnecessary to fear negotiation. Don't let embarrassment put you off. Negotiations sometimes embarrass people. Again, there isn't a need for it. If it embarrasses you to ask for a fair deal, you are missing an opportunity to improve your position. Worse, you might even make other persons miss opportunities to improve their positions. As an example, imagine that you are in a restaurant and that the food is not quite to your liking. Fearing embarrassment, you don't ask the chef to rectify the situation. You are then losing. You are not getting a fair deal. The restaurant owner also loses because you didn't give the owner an opportunity to remedy your complaint. You are unlikely to return to that restaurant if you were unhappy with the quality of the food or the service. The owner loses and you lose. Why should you feel embarrassed? There's nothing disgraceful about negotiation. When you ask someone to put something right, you're only exercising your right to get a fair deal. What is disgraceful about that? Start loving negotiation. Some people don't like to negotiate. They are quick to tell you that they don't like to haggle. They will put all their cards on the table, and if the other person doesn't want to accept it, it will be that other person's problem. Seemingly, they forget that the other person's problem is also their problem. The mere existence of the problem was the reason for their negotiation in the first place. The problem or conflict remains unresolved. Each time you encounter a person who wants something from you, stop, think. The situation calls for negotiations. Be alert. If you don't negotiate, you will not make the best deal for yourself. If you realize this, you can improve your situation. Remember, any solution someone suggests to you is negotiable. However, it is only negotiable if you make it so. This is Henk Botha at henkbotha.com. Thank you for watching.